What did you say to her?
Don't attack me because she's finally come to her senses.
Why do you have to keep getting involved?
Wake up, Remy. You're having an affair.
But you don't know the full picture.
Neither do you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Do you know when the last time she spoke to her husband was?
No, it's not my business.
An hour ago, Remy. An hour ago. I overheard her at the surf club making plans to rent a house together. When he comes back...
You know she has to play along to stay safe.
You know, I kind of get why Bree is not facing reality here, but what is your excuse?
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Hello, Sophie, once again. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too shabby, thank you. Not too shabby. Another episode, all good to go.
Yes, yeah.
Tell
Another
you.
week. Phew.
Under the belt. They're going
They
fast,
are.
aren't they? February.
It's February
Already.
I know, I keep writing January on things, but I haven't got the year right either, so I keep writing January 22 on everything at the moment.
Same. I'm still not getting the year right. I don't know what's happened to me since throughout January. I have just been on some sort of daze or something's been walking around like eyes glazed over or something.
Oh dear.
I'll tell you what happened to me today, though.
Oh,
You want a little anecdotal story?
I do. It's not
Yeah,
about Greg's, is it?
Yeah, I did drop your tech. Greg's has gone woke.
Oh dear.
Me and Carol
Mm.
in Greg's, local
Yeah.
Greg's, we've got some sort of, I think she thinks it's rapport going on. I think it's beef.
Is it beef?
Yeah, I don't, because
Is it
I
a
did
beef steak bake?
no, unfortunately not.
Oh.
I asked for a gingerbread man today, and she told me off. It's a gingerbread person. Fair enough. But I think she thought she could have that sort of rapport with me, and I'm like, take my money, I'm on my lunch.
Yeah. Don't want to be schooled on pronouns when you're having your...
I know, and I asked a colleague to go in and ask for the same afterwards.
Yeah.
They didn't get the lecture.
Really?
So she doesn't like my face. Oh, Carol.
Oh, she doesn't like men asking for men. Maybe if you'd asked for a gingerbread woman, she'd have not lectured you.
God knows what she'd have done, blimey.
I'm not sure about Carol. Sounds like a Karen to me.
Well, I was in there a few weeks, and we've been in there quite a lot lately. I said to her, there was one, it's always gingerbread man. You just see one of them. So there was one left, and I said, oh, I'll take that gingerbread man. So she said, you will not take it, you'll pay for it. I said, I am doing. It's behind a glass anyway.
She needs to be a school teacher. She's in the wrong job.
Yeah, she's very dinner. There's always that one dinner lady, weren't there, that used to be like, eat your grains. Yeah. That's Carol. That's Carol. So I need new lunch inspo. When I'm at work, I need to go somewhere else, I think.
I'm gonna make you some anatomically correct gingerbread men, and then you can show them to Carol and say this is a gingerbread man.
Okay.
I'm gonna base
Please
it off Tane.
Oh.
Tane's gonna be my inspiration for the gingerbread men. Anatomically correct gingerbread men.
I can't wait for this now. Be too good to eat though.
I know. And I don't even like gingerbread men, but I would eat them.
Make sure he's got a pair of chocolate trousers. That's doing my head in that they've not got them anymore.
Oh, do I have to put trousers on him?
Well,
that's a shame.
Oh dear. All up to date with Home and Away?
I am, yes. Are you?
Good stuff. I am, and I've got opinions.
Oh,
all the listeners now, eyes have rolled. Oh God. Off it goes.
Do I need to turn down me speakers? Save me ears. Oh dear, I'm going to get a right rant, aren't I?
No. You say that like I just talk at you for 2 hours.
I'm joking. I'm joking. You know I love you.
Right, do you want your headlines? P.S. Love you too. Eden has a few choice words for Remy as she tried to stop her friend from getting hurt. Felicity comes back round to the idea of the wedding after Gary offers her a new nice warm pair of slippers.
Oh.
It's full steam ahead for Marilyn and Rue's golf-inspired fundraiser. Now, there's a sentence you never thought you'd say on Coastal News podcast, tell you. And Xander agrees to try anything once. Meanwhile, Dean and Ziggy clash over baby names, and after a fall down the stairs, wind up in hospital.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
So we pick up in the week, don't we? Eden is warning Remy, should I say, because Remy sort of realised he's got the house to himself. He's tidying up, he's putting the washing away for a change. He's getting the house spick and span for Bree to come over because, it's only so long 2 people can be cooped up in a motel for,
a day, apparently, long enough.
It wasn't that long. And basically he's told her to clear off. And Bree's coming over. There's a really awkward scene. Bree's come out. And, Eden's there, on the cereal. And Eden, meanwhile, has been put in another awkward position because she's been booted out while he can have a dirty night in. And she's ended up over the road at the Casa Parata, with Cash, having a deep and meaningful with Cash. The whole thing, I was all a bit back up.
Cringe.
Everything's awkward for everyone.
Yeah, worst kept secret ever with a car parked outside all night as well, with neighbourhood watch John over the road.
I mean, it didn't take long. I mean, Cash was right on it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A car's outside. Hello.
Yeah, been there all night. We know we know Remy's a ladies' man. Like everyone in the Bay knows that, don't we? But this is I mean, they're sort of saying, "Oh, please don't tell anybody. I don't want to get back to Jacob." It's going to get back there. Everyone's going to see this. They're not blind.
Yeah. It is going to get back. The thing, and secrets don't last long in Summer Bay.
They don't. It's too small.
like you say, especially with John about. But they're not even trying to hide it. I don't think. Not very well, anyway. Like you say, leaving the car outside. Yeah. Coming and going from each other houses, front door as well.
Actual not even front door. Not even the back door. For God's sake.
It is early days, but
not had that conversation.
I just don't think they're being too inconspicuous. I feel like if I was having an affair, especially behind an abusive Jacob that could be lurking in the bushes,
Yeah, it could be anywhere.
I feel like I'd be tiptoeing about and a bit more, sort of looking over my shoulder a bit. They're sort of acting like they're together. The coast is clear. I know they're not really out and out, are they? Walking around town, holding hands, going for lunch and that. But actually, they were going for lunch, as friends. But I mean, people see things, people talk, don't they?
Yeah, they're acting like they're dating, and that's the problem. And that's why Eden. Sorry, that's why Eden's got a problem with it, because they're acting like they're a couple, and they're not a couple. They're having an affair, and it's a very dangerous one.
Well, Eden's seen, hasn't she? She's seen him falling for her.
Yeah.
She's with the guitar. And she's sort of, she's gone into friend defend mode. She's been, for me, the standout this week. For me, she's been sublime. I think the way she's handled it, and even like there was that scene, wasn't there, in the surf club where she overheard Brie on the phone.
Yeah.
And she sort of basically confronts her and says, you're not going to leave him.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell him what's going on with you and Remy. That for me was the point. And I thought, come on, Eden. Yes.
Yeah.
You've got to try and get through to Remy now that this is going nowhere. He's going to come back and Remy's going to be left in pieces.
Yeah.
And Eden's going to be the one picking him up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started off the week, didn't we? Before we knew they'd actually, taken that step and actually crossed that line and started the affair, because at the beginning of the week, they were still just friends, weren't they, really? And Eden at that point was saying to Remy, you need to let her, do this at her own pace, because he was having like a bit of a wobble and saying, because she was round there for some reason, wasn't she, at the beginning of the week? And then she took a phone call from Jacob and went outside to talk to him. And Remy said to Eden, how can she just be so casual? How she can take this phone call from him? And she said, look, we don't know what it's like to be in a relationship like that. We don't understand it. We've got to let her just go at her own pace and, be supportive. And then obviously it changed the next day, because then she found out that Remy had spent the night with Bree and obviously had realised that it wasn't just platonic anymore. And at this point is when she started to say, like, you need to back off now. So it went from you need to be there, let her set her own pace, let her talk to Jacob when she needs to, let her do what she needs to do, to, do you know she's talking to her husband, and do you know this is happening? And because the tables have turned, then different, it's a different scenario. So I feel sorry for her that she's stuck in the middle. She's got this secret, she knows it, and like you say, she wants to protect her friend, but she also feels, because she knows it's going on, she feels responsible for Bree as well, and being that, because she kind of offered a shoulder to her as well, didn't she?
Yeah, well, it was sort of like a half apology, wasn't it? Nice seeing it. She sort of goes, doesn't she, and says, what's the plan here? What's the plan? That was like the question of the week, was it? Have you got a plan?
I want to know. What is the plan? Because she came up with the options, didn't she, Eden? She said, right, to Remy, she said, you've got 3 options. You give up and walk away. She goes back to her husband. I'm not, I can't remember what the third one was, but basically they were all, this isn't going to work out, Remy. You need to walk away. One of you needs to decide that this is not worth it. I think it was she walks away, you walk away, or they just stay together, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was it. She goes, you go. Yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't a fourth option, though, was it? There wasn't a fourth option of get her away from her husband and then you can be together. I don't think have we even got that on the table? Is that not what she needs to do?
Oh yeah, that's not really been. Yeah, that's not really been explicitly discussed, has it? Really?
Not really.
And when you think about it, we're waiting for the exit plan, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah.
I suppose that's Eden's point. Like, what happens now? And when she said, how many other Remys have there been? And then she takes offence to that comment, doesn't she? Well, I'm not a hussy.
To be fair to Eden, we don't know, do we? We don't know whether this has happened before, and
no.
Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't a very nice way of saying that to her. It was probably a bit harsh for her to say it, but we don't know. And actually, she did say on the beach a bit later on. She said, and just for the record, there haven't been any Remys before. And she said, well, how come him now? How come now? And she didn't answer that question. She didn't say why Remy. But it's blatantly obvious that she's got feelings for him, because Eden says to her, this is going to end in tears. My friend's falling in love with you. You need to stop it. And she says, I can't. So that to me says, she didn't say it outright.
It runs deeper.
It's the L word, isn't it?
And then Bree sort of then gives her the go ahead. She's like, you make him happy, I'll butt out, and you just know it's just gonna be a mistake.
Yeah.
I still think Remy's going to hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to end well unless they've got a plan. I mean, the plan seems to be at the moment sneak around behind his back until he's back, and then go, oh my god, he's back. That's not a plan.
Yeah, no, it's not. And then, like, what do we? Meanwhile, I'll rent. He's gonna come home. She's stalling renting a house, right? And he's gonna be going neurotic about that, right?
Yeah.
On the other end, he's gonna be going absolutely nuts because she's supposed to be getting everything organised for his return.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about what's his return gonna look like, and when's it gonna be? It can't possibly be 90 days down the line. It's gonna be sooner. And maybe that was a bit of an inkling into why he might come back, because she's not answering his calls all the time. She's not looking for the house. She's not engage in the way she perhaps might have done in the past, and I think that's going to drive him to come back sooner.
Oh God, you're right. Yeah, and she won't have any plan at all.
Yeah, I'm at the point with it though now where I probably need that to happen.
Yeah.
How long has it been gone now? Has it been about 3 weeks?
I think so. It's not even been a month, that's for sure. And he's meant to be gone for 3. So yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
We've sort of resolved the Eden problem with it all, and she's the only one who's in the know. I mean, Kirby sort of realises something's going on, but Eden's kept her out of it, hasn't she?
Yeah, that was quite clever, actually, the way that she did that. But it's not going to take 2 and 2, is it? If someone says, "Oh, Bree's car was outside your house all night of the night," oh, really? And Remy's seeing some secret woman, and she's arguing with Eden's arguing with Remy about it. Oh, I wonder if it's Bree. It doesn't take long to get there, does it?
No, she keeps popping around with 2 Di Lorenzo coffee cups in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a genius to work it out. I'm surprised John hasn't worked it out already.
Oh, he's too preoccupied.
With his golf.
He's too with the golf. Oh Lord. The whole Bay are organising a golf tournament. Not one of them know the rules. Oh, sorry, Theo knows the rules.
Yeah.
Like,
have you also noticed there's no uptake for this golf tournament? Like Marilyn, the only person she's managed to convince to join in at the beginning was John, and she was saying she's having no other takers. Do you not think that maybe golf is not popular enough as an idea to do this?
I was thinking, how on earth are they going to get 40 grand from? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Am I missing something?
I don't know. If they do manage to make that much money, then we definitely need to have a golf tournament.
I know. Can each listener sponsor us 10k each?
And then we can go to Sydney and meet Al. That'd be great. Oh dear. Go fund us. I just don't understand how they're gonna even Justin's idea of it, another fundraiser at Salt, that's still not going to make 40k in one night.
It's not gonna. I don't know what. I mean, even watching golf must be worse than playing it. I mean,
oh, God,
how do you raise the money?
I have no interest
how much are they charging people to enter?
It must be 40 grand because there's only one playing.
And some of the prizes, a lifetime supply of coffee in the diner. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry, a year's supply.
Was it 200 quid from basically B&Q down the road?
Yeah, we create DIY. Do you know, I once, this is like IRL now, taking us out of the story for a minute. I once won a year's supply of Tetley tea bags. I've told you this story.
So is that 52? Like,
no, it was 365 tea bags, one a day.
Not one a week. Because I always wonder, like the lifetime, how do they calculate how many it is? I remember reading the small print for Domino's, because Domino's Pizza said they were giving away a year's worth of pizza, and I thought, well, what does a year's worth of pizza actually equate to? And it was 1 pizza a month, so 12 pizzas. I was like, it doesn't feel like a year's worth of, a year's worth of pizza makes you think of loads, doesn't it? 12. I was like,
Well, when the courier turned up with a very small box, I was like, what is this? It can't be the tea bags. I've cleared out half a kitchen to store tea bags here. And then I opened it. There was 365 like to the note, like there was 5 wrapped in cellophane, like because it was like a weird number. Nope, one a day. I thought I have at least 6 before lunch.
Oh my word! I can't believe they gave you the box and then went, oh, open another one, but don't give him that opened box. Give him a handful. That's so stingy. Just send the 2 boxes, for God's sake.
Get through it. I got through it in 2 months, and I was like, great. I sound ungrateful, but it was a competition.
It's the wording, though, isn't it? It's a letdown. If you hear year's supply or lifetime supply, you think that's a lot, and it's not, because they calculate it 1 a month.
Yeah. So I'm not very excited by Irene's offer there, if I'm being honest.
No, it's probably going to be similar terms and conditions, isn't it? I don't think they can even afford one a day, can they? The diner?
I don't know.
Because they've got that posh coffee, remember? They've got the old organic whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be about $4 a cup for that, innit? A flat white. Have you been studying the menu? How much is a flat white? Someone tell us.
Yeah.
I do like a flat white.
One a day. You think one a day for a week? That's still quite a lot of money for the diner. It's only a little business.
It is, to be fair. Yeah, that's quite out of your. Yeah, that's quite a lot of money to lose, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so this golf tournament's happening next week. We've got some crap prizes. We've got no people to play it. Can't wait. there was something today, wasn't there? Like, unless you've got, when Justin sort of stands up to him, he's like, I'm going to make my own team, Justin, blah, blah, blah.
The Morgans.
Like, I've got a secret weapon. Well, unless you've got Tiger Woods under there.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
As if exactly, and the secret weapon is it not Theo? So as if Theo's not going to switch teams as soon as he hears that Justin's the opposite,
Oh yeah, that'll be Monday's drama, won't it?
Yeah.
Yawn.
And then John will end up with, I don't know. He won't even get Kirby then, will he? Unless Kirby versus Theo. I don't know.
Did you notice Marilyn though the other day was like, Chloe and Ryder's food truck didn't cost anywhere near that. So, like, what happened to that?
Yeah, it's
I just don't see where 40 grand's coming from. So I suppose we'll have to just watch that one unfold. It's a light comedy storyline, I think, isn't it? More than I mean, it's great. There's this charity element, and it's Marilyn and Rue giving back, isn't it? And it's suppose it's mended their relationship, giving them something else to go on about. But really, on the face of it, it's getting everyone. It's something community that will probably give us a bit of light relief. I think.
Hopefully.
Where there isn't any light relief, though, is over at Casa Parata, because Flick, if you remember, was flipping out about the wedding invites arriving. And Tane's clocked it, hasn't he? Right away, you're feeling overwhelmed, need to relax, that kind of thing. And Tane actually excuses them from dinner or something. I can't remember what it was now. It was conversation dinner or something. Takes her out the back and he's like, he's just in ear gem.
He's lovely. I know.
I mean, he can't do no wrong, can he? I just love him for this sort of stuff.
I wish he would, because I'm infatuated with him now. I'm looking for the bad. Like, what's wrong with this guy? Nothing. Oh dear.
And to be fair to Flick, because when he asks her, she does tell him the truth. And I thought, because I was sitting back thinking, oh God, here we go. Nothing's wrong. Yes, there is. I thought, I can't do that again. And to be fair to her, she tells him, doesn't she? That I'm freaking out. I saw the invites. It made me go a bit nuts. And Tane's, he takes that moment for some reason to tell her that Gary offered to pay for the wedding.
I thought that was bad timing. Actually, that was bad timing. Yeah, I'd have waited until the next day, but at least he did tell her. They said at least they're honest with each other. They do. They're opening up to each other a bit more now, aren't they? Which is healthy.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way for them. To make it, and I think Flick's default is walls up.
Yeah.
Bridge up. Don't talk to me. An internal chaos. That's her default, isn't it? And I think she's so damn lucky he's like he is, because he's worked out how to get her out of that shell, when she goes like that. He's recognized it, and he knows how to get her out of it. And I think he's just lovely.
He is lovely, yeah.
Her reasoning is, I don't deserve him to pay for my wedding. I was a bitch. And he just said, Tane, well, it would make him happy, and he makes her see reason when she's being very unreasonable.
Yeah, exactly. And I get why she feels like that. It's totally understandable, isn't it? If you think you've been horrible to someone and then that person's nice to you, you feel really guilty, don't you?
Absolutely.
So you would feel like, oh, but then she needs to think about it from Gary's point of view, not from her. She's being selfish there. She's thinking about it from her point of view and the fact that she feels bad. But if she puts herself in Gary's shoes, he just wants to do something nice for her and it would make him feel good. And, it's if she says no again, isn't she doing the same thing that she's always done, is being mean to him, being horrible to him, because he's trying to do something nice for her and she's going to throw it back in his face. So actually she's still treating him badly by saying no, in a way, isn't she?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I didn't see it like that actually when I watched it.
I think, if she says no, I think it's just going to hurt his feelings, and I can't. Yeah, Gary's lovely. I'm already on the Gary bandwagon. We know that from last week, but
obviously there was that gorgeous scene in the middle of the night. She's up.
Yeah.
And he goes out to her, doesn't he? And he's goes and talks to her. He says, "You need slippers for them cold feet." This runs in the family, and he has this gorgeous story, about their mom, and she was the same.
Yeah.
And it's actually, we talk about Tane talking about, but it was actually that conversation that did the work, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think she needed to hear that, and I think I just think Gary again is an all and out nice guy. At first I didn't know how to take him a little bit. I wasn't quite as sold as you, because I thought he sounds like he knows a bit too much about. And I know they were good friends, weren't they? Her dad and Gary. And I thought, how does he know so much about, were they in each other's pockets? At first I thought, but I suppose that's because that wasn't my upbringing,
Yeah.
I suppose from Gary's perspective, you've got to tell them stories. You've got to keep them people alive, haven't you, for the kids, And I think, okay, if you had a friend, you would be telling those stories to them because it keeps their memory going.
Yeah.
So I sort of had my own little journey with it, if you like.
Yeah. It sounds like they were pretty close as friends, I think as a four group, because it sounded like, I think Gary's partner has since passed away. They haven't specifically said, have they? Just said Kath's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So that would be his wife. And it sounds to me like Gary and Kath, his wife, were friends with both of the parents of Cash and Flick. So, maybe Kath was Flick's mum's best friend, and then Gary was, her dad's best friend. I don't know. But it sounds like they're very close knit, and obviously to know them when they were getting married, I was assuming they would have got married before they had the children, so they've known them a long time before they've passed away, haven't they? So they would have a lot of stories. And you do, I guess, when you lose somebody like that, like quite young, you do kind of remember all of those, even the insignificant stuff that happens, because it kind of burns into your head after they've gone. Yeah. So he would have all those memories, because it's like a time capsule, isn't it? It's like, because they never got older, then no new memories ever happen with them.
Yeah, forever that age.
Yeah.
I just had it was a very, very split second, where I thought, oh no, was Gary and their mum involved with each other?
Oh no!
And it was only it's a dreadful idea, isn't it? I'm glad it's not. But I just had a very split moment where I thought, did he agree to take the kids on because he had a thing?
Oh no!
He'd sort of promised their mum, and is that also a complication in the relationship? I mean, tell me, is that a bad idea? I just had a moment where I thought, is that something? Because he knows a lot,
He does. Yeah, I didn't see it that way. I saw it as him being like the dad's best mate, because when he offered the money, he was like, it's what Flick's dad would have wanted. Like, he's trying to be there for her in a way that her dad can't be, because he was his best friend or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and it is that, isn't it? It's not. I'm glad they haven't complicated it, but unless it happens. But I mean,
if he turns out to be her dad, that's going to wig me out.
No,
because then it's like she's had a dad the whole time. and he's just been this guy. Oh, that's just too much.
Now you've added another layer onto it, blimey.
Oh no! Imagine if Gary turned out to be Flick's dad, and then it's like you never lost your dad. You lost your dad that you thought was your dad, but actually your real dad's been here the whole time. That's just it's too far. You can't do that to me. Can't do that to me. I can't handle it.
Get us in the writing room.
And then it'd be Cash and Flick at each other again because they'd have different parents. Oh no, I can't cope with that idea.
You're my brother.
I need Flick to calm down and just get married and just get on with life and put everything else behind her now.
This is Home and Away. That's I know. Happen.
I know. Oh, I can't do any more Flick drama.
Next day, though, the drama looks to have all fizzled because Gary's about to leave, isn't he, and head back. And she goes, hang on a mo, grabs an invite.
Oh,
I'd love you to be at the wedding. Here's your official invitation. First one, most important, and I would be happy to accept your money to pay for everything. I was like, absolutely, get the checkbook out, kid.
We can't not invite him if he's paying for the whole thing. Can you really?
Do you take wire transfer? What are you wearing?
I don't have time for this. I don't have time for you. Oh, what was that called? Inventing Anna?
Yeah.
Oh, we're so bad. We watch too much telly.
Too much shite telly.
Oh dear.
So Gaz is going to come back. Let's see him
in
at the
exactly 4 weeks.
So what? You keeping count?
I think it's about a month now. So yeah, since it was exactly 8 weeks ago, I think it's been exactly 4.
Not long to go. And Stacey and Xander, let's talk about. So this has sort of dominated the latter half of the week, and I'm still on the fence about how I feel about this story. So we left these two hooking up. Disaster day. David's dead, and they started seeing each other a bit more, didn't they? Slept together. The next day she's gone on other dates, and she was quite open and honest about basically
after they slept with each other. She was
after they've slept, yeah, not before. After. This is what I have opinions about, and I can feel the venom through the phone here. Coming from you, and then I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, so she wants to be open. She's going to see other people. She was fairly upfront about that. She definitely doesn't stop talking about it. And Xander was blindsided by it. And now we're in this position where Xander's sort of caught feelings for her, and he's clearly a fast faller. Right, he has these attachment things going on himself.
Obsessive, I'd say, but there we go.
Develops very strong attachments, I was going to call it. And yeah, there's another moment they've gone out again, and he's sort of agreed to make it work. Rosie's like, what you doing, as are the rest of the world watching. And we said, didn't we, he's sleepwalking into heartbreak here, almost. You just feel it coming, and he's trying to kid himself. And then there's another moment they've spent another night together, and the next morning she's just started a shift, and she's asking Nico out right outside his house. What the hell's going on?
Oh, it's too small. Summer Bay is too small to be in a poly relationship, because if you're only going to date people from Summer Bay, they're all going to know each other, and it's going to be awkward. I'm sorry, but she needs to throw her net a bit further out. She needs to go to Mangrove River or Yabby Creek or Reefton Lake. She needs to go out and get a date from outside of this tiny little pool. And she's going for, not being funny, but her boss's nephew.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, You'd go for the boss, but yeah, continue.
Well, obviously you go for the boss, but it's pretty obvious that he's getting married, so I think he's off the table for an old
Well,
poll.
I don't know. I've gone right off this, Stacey. I don't. At first, I was happy to go with it, and listen to what she had to say, and embrace that, equality. Yay. But I don't think she's a very nice person mixed in with it.
No,
come on, tell me your thoughts.
I'm getting weird vibes off her. Like you, I was thinking, okay, fair enough. I think she was too late telling him. She should have told him before they slept together, but whatever, we'll go with it. Now he does know. He's being really weird. I thought the whole point of this being in a poly relationship was that you don't have to deal with all the usual, drama of a relationship, arguments and jealousy and all of that sort of stuff. Like, it's meant to be all the fun stuff, isn't it? You go on a date, you get to know someone, and it's kind of like a no strings attached thing. So it's supposed to be all the fun bits of a relationship and not all the kind of, the normal day to day and the arguments and the drama and all that sort of stuff. But with Xander, it's never going to be like that, because he's literally following her around. Like, he's almost stalking her. Like, he doesn't want, his plan seems to be that he doesn't want her to date other people, but he wants to pretend he's okay with it. But what he's going to do in the meantime is just monopolize all of her time, so she hasn't got time to date anybody else. Yes. So effectively, they're just dating each other, but that's not going to work. And she knows that, she's seen, because he's sort of been moody with her a couple of times, and she's had to say, are you okay with this? He's obviously not okay with it. And I don't think the point of the relationship being that it's meant to be just fun, it doesn't look that fun to me, because he's making it stressful.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. He's making it all stressful, and she knows it's not for him.
Yeah,
like, she knows it, so walk away yourself.
Yeah,
rather than
she needs to sort of take it on herself, take responsibility of herself, and take herself out of that situation. You would have thought, would you not do that?
Yeah, I'd be thinking, oh God, this guy's going to be stuck to me like glue. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. You would, wouldn't you, thinking, oh, buddy boiler. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're right. I think she needs to accept a bit of responsibility here. Instead, I feel like she's putting it all on Xander. Well, there was a scene tonight in the gym where he was hanging around. Like you say, he's trying to just be with her all the time, so she just can't possibly have anything else going on. Yeah. And there's that scene, isn't there? She's like, oh, you're going to get me in trouble. Like, if this isn't, I told you what this was like. If it's not for you, then that's on you. You need to decide that. I'm thinking, no, you tell him you don't want to see him, because you know this. She must have come across this before, if this is what she's like. Also, there was some weird throwaway comment like, I'm not a emotionless sociopath or something, and I thought, well, could have fooled me.
Yeah, although I'm waiting to see what happens now, because obviously he tried to go to her and say, I'm not going to date anybody else, and she called it manipulation, didn't she? She said, well, do you think I'm just going to say, I'm a one man woman now? Sorry. Now that you've said, oh, I'm not going to date anybody else, you're expecting me to say the same. I'm not going to change. And I was like, that's fair enough, because she couldn't be more clear with him about what she wants, and the fact that, it's not going to happen and all that sort of stuff. That I've got some respect for. But I'm questioning how she would actually be if the shoe was on the other foot, and if she saw Xander out on a date with someone else. Because she's been saying to him, like, oh, I've got a dinner date with somebody. Oh, I've got a lunch date with somebody. Yeah. Like, being really open, because she keeps going about, this is open, I want to be transparent with you. He turned around tonight and said to her, okay, I'm going to try dating other people as well. I'm going to try and loosen up a bit and see what this is like and give it a go. And then he said, I've already got a date lined up for the morning. And she went, you don't have to tell me that. She got really weird about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, hang on a minute. So you're allowed to tell him, oh, I've got a date with a guy, and oh, I'm going out for lunch with this guy. But if he does it to her, she was like, I don't want to hear about it. I found that really strange.
Do you think she was weird about it, or do you think it was like that was her get out of jail free card? Like, don't tell me because I don't want to tell you.
Possibly, but it seemed a bit defensive to me. Like, because she's going about, oh, I don't get jealous, and I was like, okay, let's test it, let's see if you don't. I'm not sure.
I mean, Nico wasn't having a bar of it, was it? Nico has actually, he's Nico's been one of my favourite characters lately. He's actually, dare I say it, but he sort of, like this, Rose makes Xander go over to him, don't you, just to find out what's going on, And prior to this bit you're talking about, and he goes over and he goes, hey bro, like what's going on with you and Stacy? Like nothing, brother. I was like, what? Who wrote this scene?
Your accents are spot on. Can we just take a minute? It was like they were on the phone. Oh my god. Had me fooled. I was like, Nico's on the phone. Oh.
Piss off.
Oh dear. Not as good as your Cat Slater, I'll be honest. Cat Slater's that's top drawer, that one.
Yeah, well, that could be Stacey, couldn't it? I'm not just a slag. I'm a total slag. Can't do it right because I'm laughing.
Still made me cry.
Yeah, there's that weird bro scene. Like, what did you do? And he's like, no, it's not for me. I've told her no. And there's this sort of Xander turns around, he's like, I need a drink, and he's thinking, why didn't I do that? I thought that was like a bit of a moment of Xander, like, oh shit, yeah, I should have done that really, because this is. I just feel like I'm trying to look at Xander's character and the type of guy he just. People pleaser's not right, is it? But what's
possessive.
The word?
Yeah, I think he's possessive. Yes. I think he's way too attached to this girl that he's only slept with twice. He's hanging around it all the time like a fart in a lift. It's like, I don't understand. It's too much. I think even if they were dating just monogamously, I can't say that word. Even if they were just dating each other and nobody else, I still think he's coming across as way too keen. It's been a week.
Well, you know what's going to happen now, don't you? He's on this date, isn't he, where we're up to with this, because he's downloaded the Smolder again, hasn't he? He's got a coffee date. And I think he's going to sit there on this date now and, like, he's just going to be thinking about Stacey, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. And what's she going to be thinking? I want to see her reaction to his date. And if she really is this cool and... I don't know.
I was looking and saw, like the people walking, like the extras walking. I was like, that's Stacey. I can't tell. Glasses on. Is she walked in? Can she see them on the date? Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying that. I think she's cool with her seeing other people. I just want to see if she's really cool with him seeing other people. I'm just not buying that. I don't know. There's something about her that I'm just...
I don't like her now. I don't like her. Fair enough if that's what you want to do, but don't, like I say, don't. She's stringing him along. Is my opinion.
Yeah,
I think she's leading him right to it, and I think it's unfair on him, and I don't like it, and I think she needs to put an end to it now.
Yeah, I just don't think it's working. I think if you want that lifestyle because you just want all the fun stuff, hanging out, having fun, going on dates. And doing all the, the fun bit of the relationship and not having all the serious talks and all the drama and all the arguments and stuff. I think she would cut him loose if that's really what she wants.
Yeah, but she's giving him that hope now, hasn't she? Because he says to her, is there a chance in the future that it might be exclusive? Never say never. Now he's going to be holding on to that. I just think it's a waste of everyone's time.
It is.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, he'll be bedding John next week. We'll find out in first look tomorrow.
No, that's true. What? How many singletons are there in Summer Bay? That's what I was trying to work out the other day. Remy's obviously with Brie. Theo's with Kirby. Nico's not interested. I can't think of anybody else that's around her age that's not hooked up.
Hey, I've had an idea. Now you've said that though. Just as you were saying that. What if, because she's open to anything, Xander started to open his mind. A few beers in Nico, and we've got a pay-per-view episode here. I'd buy it.
I can't go there. Oh my god. No, I don't know.
That's my visa.
Oh,
yeah.
She could go for Cash, I guess, because Cash isn't with Eden technically, and he kind of walked away from Eden because he didn't want anything serious. So maybe he would be up for a. I don't know.
No. The thing is, everyone knows everyone's business, don't they?
I know.
Not
there
Shell.
isn't anybody. Unless she goes
So
for ladies as well, then she can have a bit of Mac or something. I don't know.
Up. Happy word. She's good at golf.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where this is going, this story, but it's not going anywhere good, I don't think.
I tell you what's not going. The word grommet.
Oh, vomit.
If you were playing your old grommet drinking game this week, you'd be absolutely legless.
I know.
It's getting worse.
It is getting worse. About 300 times, I think, this week.
What do you think about some of Ziggy and Dean's baby name suggestions? Didn't like one of them, I don't think.
They're all better than Grommet, I'll be honest. But then,
Even Jagger.
Swagger Jagger. No, I wasn't keen on that one. I'll be honest. I don't know. I saw a list that Dean had in front of him, and all I saw was Bob and Hendrix on it.
I
was like, we've already had a Bob. Hendrix is a cool name. But Hendrix Thompson?
Oh, God. Well, this is the debate, isn't it? The surname.
Hendrix Thompson or Stoney?
Why is Stoney second? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, one of the names they were batting around was Zoe. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
And we've had a Zoe in the Bay before, haven't we? And that didn't end well.
Well, hang on, Zoe. Zoe was the fake name, wasn't it?
Yeah, she killed someone called Zoe, didn't she? And then took her identity and pretended to be a nurse.
Yeah.
And then she was actually Eve or something, wasn't she? But she was the Summer Bay stalker, wasn't she? So the name
legend.
Zoe. Zoe's not a good name in the Bay.
No, triggering for some of us watching.
I know. And then Dean was like, "Oh, I used to know this really cool girl. Her name was Bex." And Ziggy's like, "No."
Let's call it Brody.
Yeah, it's not happening, dude.
Look, the whole thing was really, really awful, right? Another day, another row at Dean and Ziggy's house.
It does feel like that. It just feels like rowing and pizza and grommet at the moment.
And most of it is Ziggy. I'm going to be honest. I'm saying things here now. I'm going to set you off. I think Ziggy's the problem, right?
Do you?
Yeah. And she's explaining her behaviour away by saying she's tired and pregnant. And it's really, really racking me off now.
She's got really pregnant in a week as well. Have you noticed? Last week she wasn't that pregnant. This week she's looking very pregnant.
It's probably someone lost the middle bump in the wardrobe.
Whoops! Just go with this one.
Yeah. We'll write it in. Shave another 4 weeks off. Yeah. Yeah, I think the whole name debate thing. She shuts it down because she's too tired, because she's been up all night helping Theo with his homework that we're not really going to go into because it was just what. And then Dean, he says he wants the name Thompson. She says, I assumed a Stoney. We've not really spoken about it. And rather than speak about it, she yells at him that she's tired again and she's not talking about it. And he actually has a really nice compromise where he says, let's hyphenate it. And then we can both, we're not married, let's hyphenate it. And she then starts a big argument again because she wants her name first. I mean, grow the up. Yeah. I'm just not, this whole pregnancy for me could have been so much different. I've just not enjoyed any of it. And these are two of my favourite characters on the show of late. And I just feel like this story has ruined it for me. It really, really has. And the best person throughout the whole thing was Mac. I mean, Mackenzie Jr. is the best idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, MJ.
Yeah.
Don't call me Mac Senior.
I think we've needed her popping in and out of the room, just to sort of diffuse it a bit. And then tonight, did you see, it might have been tonight, it might have been last night, because I've done a double tonight, but Ziggy sort of does that to him, and by the way, bring me home some greasy food, and then acts normal, and she's really upset Dean. And Dean's spoken to Mac, hasn't he, heart to heart, and he said, it's really important to me. And she said, well, you need to fight for it if it's important to you. And then but names and surnames, and everyone talks about, I think it was even mentioned, male patriarchy, sarcastically from Ziggy tonight. And when Dean sits down and says, will you just listen rather than argue with me?
Yeah.
And he explains that he didn't have a dad growing up, and what it means to everyone knows where I'm from. When you've got your mum's name, it means you've got a deadbeat dad. And I don't want to be known as that. I want to be there for my kids, and I want my name. I want them to take my name and be proud. And I thought, I don't think that's unreasonable to want.
No, it's not unreasonable. I don't really understand the logic of it. But this is how they communicate. There isn't. Well, they don't communicate. They just argue, and it's like everything is a competition because they're both so stubborn. And it's like, I want this. Oh, I want this. Oh, well, you can't have it. Oh, well, you can't have it. And then he goes away and talks to Mac, and then Mac usually talks one of them round, and then they talk like real adults. I just
rinse and repeat.
They've got a long way to go with this baby for me, because I'm like, they're not ready to be parents. I just don't see it. They're not prepared. They're still acting like children and arguing and being all moody and stubborn every 5 minutes and falling out over the stupidest things. I don't know. I'm not feeling this either. I've not been feeling Diggy since they got back together.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, for a long time. When they first started going out before they broke up, they were a different couple. Now they're back together again. I don't see it.
This is what it's been like, hasn't it? Yeah. No, I'm with you. We've said this a few times, haven't we? It's not, 2.0 as been calling it. It has not the same as the first time round. No. And they were supposed to be this generation's big power couple, weren't they? The world they want. I'm way more interested in Flick and Tana, even though they're a right train wreck down the road.
They are a train wreck, but I feel the love in that relationship, whereas I don't in Dean and Ziggy. I do feel like it's Dean versus Ziggy rather than Dean and Ziggy versus the world a lot of the time. That so much has happened that almost broke them. Dean not being able to surf almost broke them. It doesn't take much to put a rift between them, and that's what I'm not enjoying. Don't enjoy that coupling up, because it feels like a struggle.
Yeah, I do wonder what Ziggy we would have now and what Dean we would have now if they weren't back together. If Ziggy might have stayed with Tane, because that's where she was. It makes you wonder what characters would have had now, doesn't it, if that recoupling never happened. We might have even had this unspoken bond, because they were a real strong couple first time round. We might have had all this sort of play, this undercurrent of unresolvedness that never quite gets tapped into. We could have maybe had a bit of, and it just makes me wonder,
and then Dean would have had his family, he would have had Joy and
Amber,
and that seems to be what Dean wants. I mean, for me, Dean's quite a simple person, isn't he? Really, he just wants the 2.4 kids, and I want to go surfing every day, and he's quite basic, isn't he? Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's a man's man, he's a bit of a knucklehead and all of that. Whereas I don't really see him with Ziggy. I don't think they're a very good pairing. I know they're popular, so I'm probably shooting myself in the foot because everyone's turning off now and going, "Oh, what's she talking about?" But I just don't feel them as a couple.
I don't think you're on your own. I think people get exasperated with them, and you see it online all the time, comments about them arguing and things, and it never used to be like this. And if this is what they're like now, and it's a real shame because especially, I mean, Dean, they've been here for years now, you know. And they're out and about, and they're at Salt, aren't they? And they're coming down the stairs talking about baby names, and she takes a trip 2 meters down the stairs, and rushed to hospital. She's had a fall, she's got pains in the stomach, another scare basically, and she's in hospital getting checked over, and way off on last week's First Look, weren't we here? Because it said something about Bree and Dean, and she misreads his overprotective. And then we thought maybe she was making a pass at him, thinking he was coming on to her. we were more off than a Chinese spy balloon over America, whatever it is that's in the news today. She's Dean's upset, isn't he? And he's shouting at her at the hospital, do something, what's going on? And she's sort of seeing a male man, as opposed to a female man, a man shouting at her. We know what's going on with Bree and the whole domestic abuse stuff with Jacob, and she is seeing her own experience play out, and she's putting 2 and 2 together here and getting like 7, and she starts quizzing Ziggy, doesn't she? What's he like at home? What's going on with you two? And you're thinking, she thinks, what's that bruise from? There's help, and you're thinking, she thinks Dean's knocking Ziggy about here.
I know. I know. It's actually made me quite furious because she hasn't got much to go on. She's okay. Ziggy's fallen down the stairs, but it's not like he's pushed her, is it? In the surf club, she's just assuming that something's not right with that story. Oh, she fell down the stairs. She's not buying it for whatever reason. And then she unfortunately sees a couple of things out of context, doesn't she? So she hears through the curtain Ziggy crying and saying sorry and saying, "Oh, I should listen to you and I'm really sorry." And Bree's hearing that when she says it to Jacob, and she's trying to suck back up to him because he's in a mood or whatever. So she's hearing stuff out of context and putting it all together and just getting to the wrong situation. And then the audacity of her to then call Cash and report Dean when, can you imagine if Eden had actually told Cash the full story about Bree, how Bree would react?
I know.
I know she's got a duty of care because she's a doctor, but if the tables were turned, if somebody called Cash and said Bree's being knocked about by Jacob, she would not be cool with that, would she?
No, I understand why you're livid because honestly, it's bang out of order. What is she playing at?
I like the fact that as a doctor, she feels she's got a duty of care. She probably feels like she's got a responsibility to her patient, Ziggy, and obviously the baby as well. And if you do genuinely believe that they're at risk for any reason, then yes, she's absolutely right to act on that. It's just the fact that it's coupled up with the lack of evidence and the fact that she would be horrified if the shoe was on the other foot and somebody did that to her and reported Jacob. I just can't get past that hypocrite bit. I don't know. Is it just me?
No. I feel it's like I've had quite a strong response to what she's done as well. And it was the very end of the week, wasn't it, for us here in the UK? So we're now left on that whole, has she actually just called the police on Dean? Like, of all people, do you know what I mean? And I'm left here sitting here now all weekend thinking, what the hell? What? She's projecting.
Yeah, she absolutely is. Yeah.
her issues, isn't she?
Because she can't face her own problem, and her own problem is that she needs to get out from Jacob. She needs to either run away from him, or she needs to contact the authorities and report him properly so that he gets, something happens to him so that he doesn't keep doing this to somebody else or keep escalating it with her. And she can't take responsibility for her own life, so she's kind of doing it for Ziggy as if that makes it better. Just wound me up. It's wound me up.
Yeah, it's wound me up. Now we're in an interesting place here now because Cash has picked the phone up, hasn't he? So investigating officer Cash, right? Did he? By the way, is he? He's still a copper, isn't he? Did we ever get the outcome of his?
Oh, I've forgotten. Yeah, he's out. He's been demoted, hasn't he? I think. Was he not?
Oh, was he? I just missed that.
I don't know. Wasn't he a sergeant before, and now he's just like a? I don't know. I can't remember.
Senior. Yeah, we'll have to have a look at that. I mean, I just realised, just saying it, and oh yeah, is he? Because he was worried about getting fired a few weeks ago.
He was, but didn't he get demoted or something? I can't remember.
Slept since then. Obviously not. He's still a police. So, but we know that Cash knows about her.
Yes.
She doesn't know.
No.
So Cash, this is quite an interesting development on this story now, because, and I'm really interested to get on to First Look, tomorrow, because I'm wondering if it's going to give us any indication of what Cash does now. Think about it. Cash now receives a phone call from Bree, who he knows. He's waiting for her to come forward, isn't he, after having spoken to Eden?
Yes.
So he knows there's something going on, that she's being knocked about. He then receives a phone call from her saying Ziggy's being knocked about.
Yeah.
Well, what does Cash do with this now? I'm really interested to find out. Does this open the dialogue between Cash and Bree? Where he's like.
And then we'll see how she reacts, because then she'll know that someone's reported her case to him, and we'll see how she feels about it. So I'll be interested to see if that is, because I bet she's not happy.
Exactly. So I think it's quite an interesting development now. We were way off thinking that she was making passing.
I don't know what we thought. But there we go. It wasn't this, that's for sure. But I'm furious, but I'm kind of relieved in a way, because this means this storyline with Bree has got to come out soon, because now this is escalated with Ziggy, that we think there's an abuse, storyline here when there's not one, but we know there is one with Bree. This has got to escalate to her having to admit and to someone else. Yeah.
And the audience are loving it. Everyone's loving this story when you read online.
Oh, really?
It's all you see on the comments, on the forums, on Twitter. Everyone's really enjoying this. I know it's a strange storyline to enjoy.
Yeah.
But everyone's into it. So we need to get this thing moving.
Yeah. So it's time for your say on the Bay, and that name is sticking because we've had no other suggestions on what to call it. So, dearie me. So
I've grown fond of the name.
I think it's not awful, is it? Your say on the Bay, it rolls off on the tongue. Yeah, that's all right. So what this segment is, for anybody that hasn't already come across this before, is we talk about something that's been popular, I guess, discussed on the hashtag this week while we've been watching the episodes, or anybody that's tweeted us or got in contact with us on email. So anybody that doesn't know, we are on Instagram and Twitter, and it's at Coastal News Pod, and our email address is coastalnewspod@gmail.com as well. So if you want to get in touch with us about anything that's happening in the Bay right now, let us know your opinions, your views on any of the storylines or any of the characters, any theories about where storylines might be going, anything you want to get off your chest, feel free to contact us, and we're quite happy to discuss that on Your Say in the Bay. So we've been looking this week on the hashtag Home and Away on Twitter and seeing what people are saying, and one of the storylines that people are talking about, understandably, is the Xander and Stacey storyline. There's been quite a lot of comments on this, so there was one. Just trying to find out who sent it. I think it was Little Miss Heike. She said, basically, Xander needs to grow a pair of balls and walk away from this chick.
Okay.
So getting
Don't
straight
mince
to
your
the
words,
point.
love.
Straight to the point. And then somebody, Tom Hewitt, tweeted, "I'm sorry, but who wouldn't be happy with seeing Xander? Just seeing Xander, you know, it's not a throuple, just dating him. Who wouldn't be happy with that?"
Well, you know, yeah, she's trying to have a cake and eat it. I'm new to this club. You know, I recently had my Xander awakening, my ex-Xander awakening.
Yes, that's true. We weren't sure about him a couple of weeks ago, but you're on board now, aren't you? Have your opinions changed since he started dating Stacey, or
a little bit, because I'm thinking he might never go home.
It's a bit of an obsessive to me. And then there's just a lot of tweets saying, "This isn't for you, Xander. Walk away. You know, this is not what you're meant for. It doesn't look like it's going to work for you. So, time to walk away, lad." So a lot of people not feeling the Stacey and Xander love, really.
It's that thing, isn't it? You know, with relationships, and your friends all tell you around you, it's not good for you, but you don't listen. It's a bit like that, isn't it? We're all saying, Xander, this isn't for you.
Yeah.
And Xander's just sort of got his head in the summer bay sand,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
First of all, right, it's 2023, it's home and away, and we've got a polyamorous storyline. What a time to be alive. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to feel about this storyline, I'll be honest. I mean, I think it's something that a lot of people have been calling for, because if you remember, cast your mind back to a hashtag last year when Neighbours was still on Channel 5 being aired, and obviously Neighbours has got a lot of different diverse characters compared to Home and Away, you know, and people were saying, why isn't Home and Away more like Neighbours? Why is Home and Away, you know, straight couples? There's nothing exciting. There's no gay or lesbian characters. There's no polyamorous relationships and all of that stuff. We had all of that last year on the hashtag. People were questioning why Home and Away wasn't like that. And I think now it's kind of proven with this storyline, to me anyway, that it doesn't work on Home and Away. So this poly story, Summer Bay is just too small for this story. I think so. Stacey obviously is quite comfortable with the idea of dating lots of people, and that's absolutely fine. I have no problem with that storyline in itself, but I just don't think it works in Home and Away, because I think Home and Away is just too small. There's only, I think at last count, there's 20 characters on this show.
Yeah, it's a teeny tiny cast, isn't it?
It is.
Teeny tiny town that it's set in. I completely get what you're saying. This isn't the city, the unnamed city. Stacey's sort of like the alien that's arrived from it. You know, like when you bring a friend home from uni, back to the suburbs from the city, and they've got pink hair and you know, like
hello, I have pink hair.
And that's why I said it, pink hair, and you know, like, and they're dead like alternative and like cool and modern, and like, you know, they've got the pronoun, and you know, like you bring them home to mum and dad go, oh wow, who's this? You know, it's a bit like one of them moments, isn't it, where Stacey don't belong here in the Bay. Stacey needs to be up in the city where everyone's doing that, I think.
And there's more of them. I mean, if you think about it, a cast of 20, I'm sure there's only 20 odd in the cast. And out of them, the only people that she can date that aren't, you know, extras, you know, people that are actually on the show, are Xander, Cash, maybe, if he's still not, you know, hung up on Aiden, Nico, who's already rejected her. And that's about it. I don't think there's anybody else. Apart from the oldies. I mean, if she goes for John, or I don't know.
Anything past her at this stage.
There's nobody else. Rose, she could go for Rose. You know what I mean? It's just like, I just don't see where this is going.
Right. I mean, we might sort of, I'm about to sort of maybe show me age, maybe. How common is this now? Like, is this
You're
pretty much
asking
the
me?
going thing?
I'm sorry, you're asking the 40-year-old woman who doesn't go out very much.
Like, you know, like we're making a big deal of it, like, oh, it's poly, because it's I certainly that age, teenagers, 20s, I certainly had no friends that were like that.
No.
Is it? And I know sort of there's Gen
I had a lot of friends
Zs.
that were polyamorous and the other half didn't know they were. I had a lot of that when I was in my 20s.
Yeah,
It wasn't an
yeah,
open relationship, it was just one cheating on the other one.
yeah, true. There was
Yeah.
that. But I don't know, this sort of being so open about your sexuality seems a little unusual for me. Naturally, I'm a bit like, she's really open, she's free, she doesn't mind talking about it, like that's what I want and that's what I'm getting, and girl power, and
Yeah.
and like, is this a generation thing and that's why we don't connect with it so much?
Possibly. Yeah, it's not something I've ever thought about, I guess, personally. And
Because
like
for
you,
me
I
it's
don't have any friends that are, well, that I know of, you know, unless they do, unless they've got a poly relationship they don't go around talking about, because that's the other thing, isn't it? You could know somebody that is, but they don't necessarily go around telling everybody in the world, whereas she's very open. And I think you have to be in Summer Bay, you know, if she takes Xander out to Salt on a Tuesday night and then she takes Nico on a Wednesday night, people are going to see that. It's
I
too
know it's just a bit
small.
weird. Yeah, it's strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, is it going to work? I don't know if it's a storyline that's proper. I think this is dipping their toes. I don't think that this is going to be a full-on story
Yeah.
arc. Personally, I think
Yeah.
it's the show dipping its toes, and I think it's going to wind up being more about Xander finding himself,
Yes. Yeah.
as opposed to their relationship. It's just an interesting debate about societal changes, and I just wonder whether that is. I mean, get in touch if you're listening, people, and you've got friends of a certain age, you know, maybe you are, and you know this is commonplace. People don't get married 21 years old anymore and have kids and a
No.
mortgage. They
No.
they play the field a bit and they try new things and they go out and they, you know, things happen much later in life now, and I think Stacey's probably inadvertently holding up some big mirror to the Summer Bay community, like, look how stuck in the mud you are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much that, because it does feel very traditional, and I think that's the criticism that I see quite a lot about Home and Away, is that it is that, I guess it's stuck in the past in some of you know, it's not reflective of society as a whole. You know, when you look at other soaps that we've got over here, like Hollyoaks, and Coronation Street, even EastEnders, you know, you've got a much more diverse cast, but you've got 40, 50 people in some cases. I think there's 80 people on Coronation Street, 80 cast members, something really high like that. So you would expect a more diverse, you know, if they were all exactly the same, like identical characters, you wouldn't watch it, would you? Because it'd be boring watching 80 people that are identical. But for Home and Away to have 20 people, if they were all, you know, really diverse characters, that would just make it ludicrous, wouldn't it?
Especially given its setting.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about some of these other soaps here. EastEnders is East London.
Yeah,
The most
exactly.
diverse place ever.
Yeah.
You know, so I would expect to see that on there.
Yeah.
Corrie's suburbs of Manchester, again, a very diverse place. Well, I think it's Hollyoaks supposed to be a village.
Hollyoaks is a village, but it's got school, and it's like it's the younger crowd, isn't it? Because it's that school age.
So it's not sort of in a city area. So perhaps that's a bit strange. I mean, oh, gosh, is there a Hollyoaks podcast out there somewhere? Let's talk about tick boxing. But when you look, so if you went to a seaside town, not just Australia, maybe here, you're not going to find a lot of LGBT people. You're not.
Not in like Margate or, you know, somewhere like that, where it's more the older generation caravanning, and you know what I mean. It's not. Yeah.
They're in the cities, aren't they? So it make those soaps that are in the cities fair enough. Now that could be seen as an excuse. I don't think it should be an excuse because it's easy to use that as a fallback as to a reason why you wouldn't. I don't think it should be.
No.
The place where the show is set should not be the reason you don't have diversity. I mean, we sort of segueing right away here from the topic of conversation, aren't we? But it's sort of relevant in that a poly story feels different for Home and Away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like, and it's another show's story, and I don't know where I sit with elated that they've done it, and really proud that they've done it, or a bit awkward because it doesn't really work, like you say. I'm sort of in between the two feelings about it.
Yeah, I feel the same. If it was on Corrie or EastEnders, I don't think I'd be batting an eyelid as much. It'd just be like, okay, fine. On Home and Away, it just doesn't feel right. It just, because it's like it's just too small. It's like just dating somebody and you're in the same road as you, and then dating the person in the next door house. It's just so wrong.
Yeah, it is a very small community, isn't it? Very small cast, and I mean, already we've seen the ramifications of that. With the whole Nico thing, and I just think it must be a conscious decision of representing a change in society, and I think that's what soaps need to do. So I think I'm now talking myself into I'm glad they've done it. But I do feel it's probably not the end game storyline. I think we're more about Xander.
Yeah.
And do you know what? If we can represent more of this on screen, on Home and Away, it's probably for the good. I have a feeling this is a bit dipping the toes in, and maybe depending on what we think of it, depending on how that lands with us, maybe we'll have something a bit more meatier in the future. Who knows?
I think it's good because I think, like I said, a lot of people last year have mentioned it on the hashtag. So I think the writers or whoever have seen that and they've listened and they've gone, right, okay, well, people want more interesting dynamics and relationships. They've got that on Neighbours, they've got that elsewhere. Let's see, like you say, dip a toe in and see how it works. I think it's good that they've tried it. I just don't think it's working.
It's right. Yeah.
I could be wrong.
You're allowed that opinion, and if you're listening and you have a similar opinion, maybe you have an opposing opinion, let us know, because it's a really interesting debate, this, and it's one debate that we'll have time and time again with relation to Home and Away, because you're right, that undercurrent of criticism is often there, and then there's often not the praise when it is, which can sometimes be frustrating, but it's nice to have that debate. So get in touch, let us know.
I think
I also think these soaps, and things, they have like this. They don't just they sort of have listening groups, don't they? And they'll have different people from all walks of life on them, and there might be somebody on the team and they might be saying, my friends are all like this, and this is what they all do, and they're just blasé about it and really open, and they're living their best life, as Xander puts it, and maybe there's a bit of that gone into it.
That could well be it, and if it is that's good, if they are listening to people about what they want to see on the show and then trying to incorporate that's brilliant. I think the problem with this storyline, the way that it's being executed at the moment, and it may change because obviously we're only just seeing the start of the story here, it's, for me, because it's not fun. They're not having fun. It feels stressful. It feels like Xander's not enjoying it. Let's put it straight. I mean, people on the hashtag are telling him to walk away. Not for you, Xander. Try something else. You're into monogamy. You're not going to be able to share her. You're obsessive already. It's only been a week. And you're trying to monopolize her time and all that sort of stuff. It's coming across as, from his side, a bit toxic. So I think it's not showing the I don't know what the word is, but the advantages or the good side of being in a poly relationship. It's kind of showing all the bad bits of it, isn't it, really? So
yeah, really good point.
It's not really, if they were showing,
I'm not sold, put it that way.
No, if they were showing Stacey, with people that thought the same as her, and she was just dating them and they were all happy and they're all, she's going out with this person on that night and they're happy, and then that person goes out with someone else and like it actually working. But what we've actually seen is Stacey having dates with Xander. Stacey's getting like dates cancelled with other people, so we're not seeing her with other people. And Xander's trying to monopolize all her time and keeps turning up and starting these like drama discussions with her where she's like, you're manipulating me, and it just doesn't feel like it's
spot on. If it was everybody who's on the same page, knows exactly what their expectations are from it and what they're all going to get from it and knows the boundaries, that would be a completely different message than the one we've had. You're right.
But this feels kind of like a relationship, but not a relationship. But it has all the drama of a relationship, but it's not a relationship. It's just, it doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. It's not a positive light on a polyamorous relationship for me.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.